Hello there, everyone. My name is Colin Martin. I'm a PhD student at Carnegie Mellon University, and I want to welcome you to this first video here on marathon training. Now, your first question might be, great, Colin, why did you bring a science nerd into marathon training? Well, luckily, I do have some background here in running, and I'm going to kind of introduce myself here to get started. We'll get into a little bit more of the details of your marathon training as you get started here. So my background in running has started since I was pretty much in middle school and in high school. I attended Fox Chapel Area High School here in Pittsburgh from 2010 to 2014. And I ran with my twin brother there in high school. And we were both very fortunate to earn scholarships to run at the University of Michigan. And then I finished off my collegiate career at the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina, where my parents reside now. So they went and retired in the South, and I followed them down there for graduate school to get a teaching degree. More recently, I moved back to Pittsburgh, and obviously being at CMU, I've been finding an outlet for my running as well. And I found that in the Pittsburgh Track Club, which was just founded this past year. And it's led by a guy named Yuris Salinkis, who is an Olympic trials qualifier in the marathon. And I've got teammates like this guy, Alex Archer here, and I, who are trying to qualify for the Olympic trials in the marathon. This picture was taken this past fall at Project 13.1 at Rockland Lake State Park in New York, where I ran my most recent half marathon personal best of 65 minutes and 19 seconds. It was a really, really beautiful day. It was a very fast course. And obviously, I had my teammate Alex to push me along too, which was really, really helpful. But it was a tremendous day, and I'm still really excited about that. So that's pretty much my background in running. In this video, and this is just the first of a couple of videos that I hope to put out in the next couple of weeks for you guys as you get into your marathon training. But this video in particular is just going to be about getting going. What is the mentality that we want to have while we're training for a marathon? We'll check in about some running gear that I think is going to be really essential to your success. And then also just baseline on how to establish a training schedule for the next couple of weeks. In the next video that I put out, I'd like to get into some more specifics about how we want to train for the marathon. But this will just give us a really good overview and an introduction to what marathon training is really going to look like. So to start off, it's always really important to go into any training block with a good mentality, a good mental focus. And I don't think anyone needs to look any farther in terms of a great example of what it means to have good mentality in training than Molly Seidel. She ran for the University of Notre Dame, and she became an Olympian in this past Olympic cycle and was fortunate enough to win the bronze medal in Tokyo, which is absolutely huge. She's also just one of my favorite runners. I think she's got an infectious personality. She's extremely happy, and she just loves to have fun in her training. But the really big thing with marathon training is it truly is a marathon, not a sprint. That is, just something you should carry into every aspect of your training here. And it's applied in this way. And I think this quote that she had actually put out about her training was really quite potent. It says it's better to be undercooked than well done. And what she means by this is whenever you're starting your training for a marathon, it's always better to go into the final race a little bit not underprepared, but undertrained, just so our bodies aren't totally spent whenever we get to the finish line. And a lot of that starts with just how we start. We want to make sure that we're starting off slow, so we're not just totally punishing our bodies right off the start. We want to start slow and build up over time. And one of the good rules that I generally like to focus on, especially early in training, is something called the 10% rule. Obviously, marathon training is focusing, especially for beginners, on getting up to being able to complete 26 miles. But from week to week, we should really not try to increase our mileage any more than about 10% at a time. We risk injury whenever we push that a little bit too far. So the 10% rule, I think, is really, really great. And one other thing that I think is really good to focus on, especially in the early days and throughout your marathon training, is this idea of consistency in our training. The most prepared runners on race day are the ones that have been running and training most consistently without any interruption whatsoever, whether that be from injury or anything else that might take you away from your training. If you're able to train as consistently as possible, you will without a doubt be able to reach your fitness goals. So just staying healthy and making sure that we're not overcooking ourselves before the race is going to be a really, really big key. Some really important running gear that I think is going to be key for us to focus in on here is, first of all, buying really quality running shoes. And generally what this is going to mean, because it can look different from person to person, I personally love running in Nike shoes, but that's because I have run in Nike shoes for years and I haven't had as many injuries in those shoes. But going to get actually fitted at a running specialty store is going to be huge for you because the people at those stores are going to be able to fit you correctly and tell you what types of shoes would be best for your running type. All of us look a little bit different whenever we run, right? But there are different shoes and different shoe designs that will help you train at a higher level without getting yourself injured. So going to a running store, like Pro Bike and Run here in Pittsburgh would be a great place to start, and have those experts there tell you what type of shoe to buy because everyone's going to be a little bit different. The other thing I would suggest is some kind of timing device. While GPS itself isn't necessary, I wear this Garmin Forerunner 245, which is shown in the picture here. I know another GPS company that does really well is Coros. It's spelled Coros. These GPS devices aren't necessary, but the data that you get from them is really, really great. It'll track your distance, your time, and your heart rate. But just a regular Timex watch, anything that has a stopwatch on it is going to be really great as well. There are websites you can do to track your distance. One of them is Strava. I really enjoy being on Strava. But being able to get as much data from your training as possible is going to be very, very key. So keeping up with your times and how far you've been running is going to be huge in your training as well. So again, in this video, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of specifics about the actual training parts, but just to set you up for what you might expect whenever you're going into your first couple weeks of training here. This kind of an outline might be something you come back to look at. I think one of the common mistakes that a lot of new runners or beginner runners tend to make is going out and hammering every single run. I have a lot of friends who are just kind of, hobby joggers and they'll go out and run every once in a while, but they hate running because every time they go out, it's super, super hard. The reality of running, and especially in marathon training, is about only 2 days out of any week should ever really be hard. The rest of them should be at what we call a conversational pace, right? So any day where I don't have anything in orange or outlined in blue, those days outlined in blue can be your hard days. All these other days, like this one right here, or this, or even going for a walk one of these days, should be at a pace that you could hold a conversation with someone standing next to you at. I run alone quite a bit, actually. So one way I test myself every once in a while is I try and recite a few lines from a movie, right? If I can get those lines out relatively easily, then I know I'm running at a good pace for an easy day. If I'm struggling to breathe and I can't get those quotes out, we know we're probably running a little too fast and we should slow down. The other 2 days a week, however, we can really push ourselves. And this is where the really big advancements, especially in the marathon, are going to be made. 2 days a week in a workout, something like this, where we're running a total of 4 miles, but in the middle of those 4 miles, we're going to have 5 1-minute segments where we're running a little bit faster, and then we take a 1-minute break where we're either walking or running at a very slow pace to kind of recover. We do that 5 total times. Or another kind of workout, very similar, where instead we're doing longer intervals that are all 2 minutes, and we do those 3 times, each with a minute of rest in between each of them. Right, but this gives you an idea just of how to set up your training week. You shouldn't be going out and totally killing yourself every day. You want to make sure you're staying relaxed most of the days of the week, and then you can push yourself and see those gains on the other couple of days as well. Okay. Now, like I said, this is just an introductory video. I wanted to introduce myself and get you guys started in thinking about your marathon training. But if you have any questions over the next couple of weeks, be free to send me an email. So my email is colin.martin14@gmail.com. It's shown right here. And you can email me with any questions that you have. And in the next video, I'd love to go into more specifics about what your training from week to week might look like. Okay, great to meet you all, and we'll see you very soon. Okay.